Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome back to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. Again, I am your host, Josh Kimmel. I am back in the driver's seat. Last week, I let Justin take the control of the wheel. It was awesome. Justin was awesome, but he said, I don't want to drive again. So I'm here to drive. That's what you said, Justin. You looked in the backstage. But we're here to talk about tight ends rankings. We have 8 tight ends we're going to go over. Tight ends are very deep this year, so I'm pretty interested to see my co-host perspective and your perspective in the comments. We're also going to do a Once Upon a Draft with an awesome comfort TV show. I'm excited for that. We have some news, of course. So before we get into the show, let's welcome my co-host, the one and only Justin Bowerly. What's going on this awesome Thursday afternoon?
What's up? No, I'm excited. Super League is off to the races. Some leagues are running a lot faster than the others. Some are just strolling along, but it's a great day.
Tell you what, the Pokemon division, we very, very slow start, but we picked it up. I was talking to my buddy who's in, I think, the Animaniacs division, and he was like round 8. He's like, "How's your draft doing, buddy?" I'm like, "Well, I've picked Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Kelsey." And he goes, "And who else?" I picked Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Travis Kelsey. And that was the end of the conversation. So I've been getting updates, honestly, because I'm a commissioner about 4 of these leagues. Wow, we filled so many. Thank you guys all, for real. That's awesome. And I'm getting buzz, and I'm like, "Cool, is it my pick? Cool, is it my pick?" No, it's never my pick. It's never my pick. But it's been fun.
You guys are moving though. You guys are starting to move though. I mean, you're in round 6. It seems like today you guys have been moving. Every other notification that's coming through on my phone is a Pokemon division notification. So that's something.
So how are you feeling about your Super League team? How are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. We were just talking about this offline. I have a double stack. I took Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at the turn because we both have the 12. So I have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, actually. I drafted T. Higgins. I can't believe it. And then I also have Tua and Jalen Waddle. So
awesome. I think
hoping that does well.
12th pick as well, and I went Jamar Chase and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Didn't know you did it. Didn't know. I had no clue. And you're like, "Oh, copycat." I'm like, "Well, what else am I going to do there?" And then I went up and took Kelsey and I believe Mike Evans, and then I took Dalton Kincaid. I have 2 tight ends. Which is not like me at all. That's something totally different. Yeah. I'm trying something new, just in case Kelsey decides to not be good this year, which we're going to get into. I think he is awesome. And I took 2 tight ends because we're talking about tight ends today. That's kind of the reason why we're doing it. So before we get into our tight end rankings, do you want to get into the ADP right now on the Super League?
Yeah. So I've got some stats here. And I'm sure you might be able to guess who was overall the top player drafted. Mind you, this is a running back premium league, so 1.5 points for receptions. If you get 200 receiving and rushing yards, you get 5 additional points. So can you guess who would be the number 1 overall pick in most
Ramondre
leagues?
Stevenson.
Yeah, definitely RB55, Ramondre Stevenson. It was definitely not Christian McCaffrey. Clearly the 101 in most drafts. He's actually ADP is 102, but he is the top one. He's drafted as early as 101 and as low as 103. And then Josh Allen is actually tied with him, 101 and 103 with the earliest and latest picks. So some people got some pretty good value out of him at the 103, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with the draft. The 3rd round reversal. I heard one of our co-hosts went off in the Animaniacs division, complaining about 3rd round reversal. Dave, all I can say is cry me a river, buddy. Just cry me a river. It's okay. It's okay to try new things. And what I mean by that is 3rd round reversal. You were iffy on auction. Now you love it. Get involved, man. Third round reversal is going to be a thing in the future, I believe, and it's just starting in 2024. Well, it's been a thing, but it's going to catch on
been
more
a thing
leagues
for a while.
Yeah, but it's going to catch on more. I believe it's going to catch on. I think it's going to be one of those things like Superflex, like auctions, where more people are going to keep on doing it. So, with that being said, do you want to get to the news?
Yeah, Jordan Love is not going to practice this offseason or play a preseason game until he gets a new contract. So I think this was both the Packers and Jordan Love's team wanting to do this just to ensure that he doesn't get injured and risk any potential contract bonuses. And he's going to get paid. That's the thing. I cannot foresee him not getting paid. And he's going to make a lot of money doing it. So he'll be a top 5 paid quarterback, probably top 3. I don't know if he necessarily deserves that much money yet, but that's just the way the world is working. I mean, Daniel Jones got $140 million for.
Let's see. What I'm doing right now is I'm Googling Jordan Love playoff record. Let's see. Jordan Love playoff record. Let's see how he's been doing in the playoffs. Did he do anything at all? Did he win one? I'm honestly not sure. I can't remember.
He beat the
Jordan.
He beat the Cowboys, didn't he?
He has a passer rating of 108 in the playoffs. 466 total yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, two games in the playoffs. So I guess that deserves top 3 money now. You know, it used to be. I remember about 8 years ago. I don't know how long Lamar's been in, but Lamar's 2 first years, he lost. I think he lost to the Chargers, then he lost to another team. Oh, Lamar can't play. Lamar can't win. Lamar sucks, and we made a big deal about it. Now playoff wins, it just doesn't matter. You just pay them. Just pay them. If they have one good season, just pay them. It's ridiculous to me. Mm-hmm. And as a Dolphin fan, this scares me because maybe I'm in the wrong, maybe I'm in the minority, but I believe Tua belongs to be paid up there too. And I mean, is he going to get paid more than Love? Because Tua's going to get paid after this. And there's other guys coming up that are going to get paid after this. And this is just setting the market for disaster. And I don't know, man. In a league where we pay quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, like you said, and we don't pay running backs, we need to fix something. That's all I'm saying. But it's their money. Make your money. I'm never going to be mad about people making money, but it's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, hold out, young man. Get your money for one season of awesomeness.
Yeah.
We have another quarterback showing up to training camp looking like a professional wrestler. I don't know if half the people got the references. I'm not on X anymore. I know someone sent me one where Cody Rhodes himself actually tweeted out a photo of Joe Burrow Photoshop with the neck tattoo and the WWE Championship. He looks exactly like Cody Rhodes. So either Joe Burrow's a huge Cody Rhodes fan or it's just a huge coincidence, but I'm here for it. I love it. I love when fantasy football mixes with professional wrestling. My 2 loves. Did you get the references, Justin? Did you understand it all?
I understood that he looked like a wrestler. I couldn't tell you which wrestler it was. It looks like Slim Shady, all the things. All I know is the last time his hair was bleached was in high school, and he threw 63 touchdowns that year. So Joe Burrow season for us in Super League, this is going to be great.
Yes, Joe Burrow finished the story. Got to finish the story, Cody. Or, sorry, Joe. A lot of you guys didn't get that reference. There's one guy on Twitter who's going to hate this. I'm not going to name him, but he hates professional wrestling and he can't stand why adults watch it. Screw you, guy. You know who you are. Cody Rhodes, Joe Burrow, 1 of 1. That's all I got to say about that. Can we get right into the tight end rankings, or do you want to do the draft first?
No, let's do the ranking. Let's do some of the rankings, then we'll stop, do a draft, and then do the others. Or no, let's just do the rankings. Let's just do all the rankings right now.
Let's do all the rankings.
Yeah.
So these are rankings that we have here. These are our rankings, our OUS rankings combined.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it okay? I thought I would. I
didn't want to make sure.
This is us. Make sure we pulled it from us because it's very important to me to know that we have, of course, who's 101? Travis Kelce, the king. Still number 1 last year. I know Laporta was 1, but points per game basis, Travis Kelce was still number 1. He's still the alpha, in my opinion. He's still the alpha in the number 1 offense over there with Patrick Mahomes. I don't see a world where anyone's drafting Laporta or anyone else above Kelce, but am I wrong? Am I in the wrong of saying that? Or are people drafting Laporta over Travis Kelce?
I have seen Laporta going over Travis Kelce because I think people are worried about how Travis Kelce's numbers went down last season, but it's still crazy to me because he was still like what, tight end 2? He was still tight end 1 in points per game. Like he still had a crazy good season. And we're worried about that. The Chiefs didn't really add a lot of people to take away his targets. Yeah, they added Xavier Worthy, but they also lost receivers. Who knows about Rashee Rice this season? He'll probably play, but Travis Kelce's still the target number 1. It's like Evan Ingram. Like he's still going to be the primary target for Patrick Mahomes until he retires. And this is redraft, not dynasty. So
Yes, yes. So Sam Laporta last year played 17 games. Travis Kelce played only 15. Travis Kelce still had more targets. People don't understand that. He still had more targets. It was one more target. He had 121 and Laporta had 120, but it was still more targets. Laporta's not the number one guy there in Detroit. He's not. Amon-Ra is. When you get to the goal line, it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery. You know, Laporta had a lot of splash plays last year, and I'm taking nothing away from the young man. He's awesome, right? He's phenomenal. He's going to be a tight end, top 5 tight end for years to come. But you can't take away those splash touchdowns, or you can take those splash touchdowns away, and he's just an average tight end at best last year. Now,
yeah.
people are going to go, well, Josh, he did it. He made the plays. Yeah, he did make the plays. He also disappeared a couple times. He had 10 touchdowns last year. We can't expect that 11.5 touchdown rate to continue. It was kind of a fluke. I'm here for it. I really am. But man, Kelce's just that sure thing who's going to get you mega points weekly, and he's a plug and play. So that's all I have to say about Travis Kelce being a 101 or for the tight end position in my eyes.
Yeah, it's clear as day to me. It really is. There's no other tight end that's going to produce the same way Travis Kelce is. He's producing wide receiver numbers as a tight end.
Yeah,
not many of the tight ends do that. But like you said earlier, we have a stacked tight end unit this year. Like this is one of the deepest tight end units you can get. I mean, you could probably get down into the 12s, 13s and still be getting tight end 1s. I mean, in our rankings, 13 is still a tight end 1 in the league.
Yep. And it just, if you play standard, Laporta was still the tight end number 1, 25th overall. Kelce was still tight end 2. So, I mean, that was just last year. Got to project forward, and you got to think Kelce's going to bounce back. He had a lot of distractions last year. He had a lot of haters last year, and honestly, the Chiefs had a down year, regular season wise. So, next on our list, we have Sam Laporta. Do we have anything else to add regarding Sam Laporta? I think we covered it pretty well.
I don't have much more to add about Sam. I mean, like you said, the biggest thing here for me and why I have him at 2 is not the primary target. Was his rookie season a fluke? Was it just a splash in the pan? Like nobody expected Sam Laporta to be that good, so he ended up being that good. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still the primary guy there, like you said, in the red zone. Once you get there, you've got other guys. Yeah, Sam will get some of those, but he's not going to get all of them. I talked about this last night when I talked about Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery on another podcast that I was had the privilege of being on, and we were doing a mock draft of the NFC North. I took Montgomery over Gibbs because once you get down to that red zone, they give it to Montgomery over Gibbs. Montgomery had 11 touchdowns in the red zone last year.
Yep.
On the ground.
Yeah.
So
Kelce does that awesome play where he'll just find space at the goal line and just stand there, sit in a soft spot, and then it's just like a little pitch. I don't see Laporta getting play calls like that on the goal line. I actually have Laporta the lowest out of all of us, besides Jacob. Me and Jacob, we're so cool, Jacob, producer Jacob. We have Laporta at number 3 overall tight end. Who's your number 2,
So
Jacob?
much of a difference there.
I'm just saying. I have him number 3. I have another number 2. We won't get to him until a little bit later, but We'll go to the number 3 spot, Trey McBride, the new hotness, the guy who set the world on fire last year. This one's difficult for me because I love.
We know you love Trey McBride.
I love. And I'm not going to go into details about how I'm the Trey McBride whisperer, and I called this shit a long time ago. Sorry, Bobby. But I will say this. I'm not saying he gives me Tyler Higbee vibes. Remember that year Tyler Higbee was like the tight end one, and he had a bajillion yards in the last 6 games of the year, and everyone was drafting Tyler Higbee like tight end 4, and it was nonsense, and I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Same kind of thing went on here with Trey McBride. Around week 10, week 8, because week 8 he was the tight end 1, but then he fell off in week 9, tight end 26. But from week 8 on, the dude was unstoppable. Couldn't, like, when Kyler came back, still couldn't be stopped. You still saw that connection with Kyler. Maybe Kyler sparked that in him. Maybe that's the difference between the whole Tyler Higbee season and the Trey McBride season. That's what I'm trying to differentiate, Justin. I don't want to go ahead and say I'm going to draft McBride at his peak spot. Wherever he's going in ADP right now, I don't want him. I'm not going to roster McBride anywhere because I'm afraid that I'm drafting him at a ceiling. I'm not going to get any value there. When I look at the tight end position, to me, it's Kelsey or I'm waiting for value. What happened to McBride weeks 1 through 7? What if that happens again? What if he's phased out of the offense? What if Marvin Harrison just takes over? And it's Marvin Harrison, and it's Wilson, and it's James Conner, and it's Benson, and McBride's just a secondary piece. Maybe he's like a Dallas Goedert piece where he's catching 50 balls a year instead of just dominating games. I'm really worried about that. So that's why I'm not touching him, but I'm okay with ranking him where he's ranked.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Laporta, I mean, he's not the top target. Last year, he was the top target. He was Kyler Murray's guy. There was no other receiver that even touched McBride when it comes to the receptions. Kind of like an Evan Ingram. Like, yeah, you have some guys there, but like, are they as good as Evan Ingram? No. Marvin Harrison's going to eat a lot of that. I mean, I would expect Marvin Harrison to pull 120 targets this year, minimum. And that's a big chunk. No other wide receivers on the Cardinals saw that many targets. That's probably like two receivers worth of targets right there for the Cardinals last year. McBride's not going to get as much. There's too many mouths to feed. I think he is at a ceiling right now. ADP 48 overall, tight end 3 right now. That is high.
Way too high. Like, what's going on? Like, I wish Jacob was on here and had a good mic and everything, because I'd like to ask him, because he has him higher than I do. Like, are you really going to draft him at your ceiling, or do you just have him ranked that high because he's that high? We did a video, which isn't out yet, and I'm pretty sure it will be coming out soon, where Saquon Barkley versus Bijan Robinson. And I have Saquon ranked higher. And I didn't explain this in a video, and I'm not going to go too in depth in it, but I have Saquon ranked higher because I'm baking ADP into my rankings. I'm ranking Saquon that high because, like, oh, I can get him lower than Bijan, and I think he's going to prove the same, so that's why I'm putting him higher than Bijan. Same thing can be said with Trey McBride. That's why I have him a little bit lower, because I don't want to draft him where he's going. I don't. And I don't see a situation. He was tight end 2. Tight end 2 from week 8 on. David Njoku was tight end 1. We're not drafting him super high. Why aren't we drafting him crazy high? He had better numbers than McBride. You know what I mean? It's because he's the new hotness. It's because he's new, fresh in our mind. He's the new toy. And the potential. We've seen David Njoku's career. He's been mid. He's been average. He's been usable, but average. We're projecting forward on McBride. Give me an Njoku in like the 9th round, right? Give me someone else. But I'm okay with you guys ranking him that high. I have him high. Where do I have him ranked?
You have him at 5, I think.
Do I have McBride?
No,
I have McBride at 4. I have a 4. I have a 4 because I baked in the ADP. I want to drop him down a little bit because I'm not touching him. That's all. Disagree? Agree? We move on.
No, we can move on.
We move on to my tight end 2, my personal tight end 2. And this is surprising because I'm a Buffalo Bills hater. And I think Dalton Kincaid is going to be phenomenal this year. They don't have anyone. They don't have anyone there in Buffalo. You can talk Keon Coleman. You could talk Curtis Samuel. You can talk all you want. The fact of the matter is they got rid of Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis, which Gabe was decent, half and half games, right? But all you have left is Dalton Kincaid. Samuel's new to the offense. Coleman's new to the offense. Kincaid was there last year. And he's not going to be sharing targets as much as he did with Knox as he did last year. I think Kincaid's going to step up in a bigger role. I think they're going to rely on him in the passing game, and that's why they drafted him. They drafted him for another target, for another weapon for that Buffalo Bills offense. His ADP is tight end 5 right now. He's going 51st overall, so a little bit after McBride. I'm okay with taking him there because I know he's the primary target. I know he's going to be the number one target. I think he's going to be the number one target. I'm projecting him to be the number one target. As in McBride, I'm not. I'd like to hear your thoughts on McBride because obviously you have him lower than me.
I have him at 5, along with Dave. I think at this point, I would rather have the 3 we talked about and Mark Andrews over Kincaid. I do see the value of him being the number one target. However, I do see Keon Coleman also starting. He's gonna eat some of those targets as well. But I mean, it's not Stephon Diggs targets. It's not Gabe Davis targets. Who do they got? Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Curtis Samuel.
Exactly. That's my point.
Oh, and Chase Claypool. Can't forget about Chase Claypool.
Wait, he left Miami? Dang.
Yeah,
there goes our tight end.
Dawson Knox isn't a nobody. He's not great, but he's not a nobody. Kincaid will be the number one target here, but I don't see it as Travis Kelce level Kincaid.
No.
And you also got to think, like, again, once you get in the red zone, who's getting that touchdown? Who's getting the touchdown in the red zone? It's Josh Allen.
Who knows?
On the ground. It might be James Cook, but it's going to be Josh Allen.
That's the thing, is nobody knows, and there's going to be an equal. I wouldn't say.
I think that's why I'm more nervous about Kincaid, is that nobody knows. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if Kincaid will be tight end 1. You don't know if he'll be tight end 10, because we don't know who's going to get the ball in the red zone. We don't know anything about that offense this year, and that's my concern, and that's why I have him ranked lower, is because you don't know.
Right, but if he's definitely going, let me ask you this: if he's the number one target for Josh Allen, would you have him, if you knew that go into this season, you knew he was going to be the number, if you had a crystal ball and they said, hey, he's going to be the number one target, you know this for a fact, would you rank him higher?
I'd have him at 3 minimum.
It's just the unknown is scary, and I get that, and that's what fantasy football is about. It's projecting. We don't know Marvin Harrison's going to be a stud. It could be a total bust. We don't know. We rank him high because we have expectations for him. And then the argument can be said, well, Josh, you just said McBride, yada, 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 yada. Well, I'm going off of they just drafted a more alpha tight end or more alpha target in Marvin Harrison. Whereas Buffalo, they did nothing. Keon Coleman is not the alpha you guys expect him to be. And I'm not saying you do, but just temper your expectations on the target share over there. We can leave 2024 with Dalton Kincaid demanding 24% of the targets, which that right there is pretty good. That's pretty damn good for a tight end. It's all projections. Tight end 5, Mark Andrews, Mr. Injury Prone himself, going ADP tight end 4. Fifth, we have him 5th, and he's going ADP 4, so we're low. We're low on him in the casuals. What's up with that?
Barely.
I have him at 6. I'm a hater of Mark Andrews. I'm a complete hater. You have him at 4.
I'm at 4 because of the reason why we've talked about a lot of these guys. He is the target in Baltimore. Yeah, they've got Zay Flowers. That's it. I don't trust Rashawn Bateman. They have Derrick Henry, but he's not a pass catcher. So if we're looking over the top, who's Lamar Jackson going to? Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely, but that's not the same. Like, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews is like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Like, one of them is more superior than the other. Yeah, Andrews is coming off an injury, but I remember something about, like, he was able to, like, if they would have made it to the Super Bowl, he would have been able to, he was available for the Super Bowl. Like, he could have played. So, like, I'm not worried about his injury. I think he'll make a good comeback. He finishes tight end 15 with 10 games last year. That's pretty solid. He's never finished under tight end 20. And I only say that because he was tight end 18 his rookie season in 16 games. And then he's 5, 6, 1, and 4. he's gonna be good. He's the only target. Like
That's
other than Zay Flowers.
That's the thing is he did have 6 touchdowns last year, which is second amongst all tight ends in 10 games. That's pretty impressive. So when they do get down to the red zone, it is Mark Andrews, but as Derrick Henry takes some of that away now. Now do we see them be more conservative in the red zone and actually run the ball with Derrick Henry, their new prized possession that they just acquired? They acquired him for a reason, to add toughness to that team. And I'm here for Mark Andrews. I'm not hating on Mark Andrews at all. Like I'm not, but I do see a situation where he's 29 now. He's getting a little bit older. He seems to be hurt every single year. It's what it seems like. He did miss 2 games in 2022. He's always dinged up. He's always on the injury report. And I don't want a tight end that's always on the injury report. That's just not my style. And if I grab Andrews, you darn right I'm grabbing Likely as well. I have to. And I don't want to grab
late. Yeah.
But I don't want to grab, but the thing is, I don't want to grab 2 tight ends. I don't want to grab, in my redraft leagues, I do 1 tight end and that's it. I don't need to handcuff tight ends. If you're handcuffing your tight end, that's a red flag. And I don't want to have to do that with Mark Andrews. I don't want to waste a roster spot on a possibility that this guy gets hurt. It's not like a running back where it's like, oh, if I need Saquon, we know Saquon's injury history. We know other players' injury history. With Mark Andrews, you're just locking it up with another tight end when you could be grabbing lottery pieces. You could be grabbing, the Corley guy from the Jets. You could be grabbing someone else that could pop off. But now you're stuck with a guy just in case my top asset gets hurt. I hate that. I hate handcuffs in general. Ugh.
You see, I'm a guy where like I'll start 2 tight ends if it means that second tight end is scoring more points than all my bench wide receivers. I have no fear of that. If I have a tight end that is good, if I have 2 10+ point tight ends, again, I'd rather start the other tight end than get 7 points out of a bench player. So I have no fear of drafting a second, third tight end. Again, but I start multiple tight ends in non-tight end premium leagues. So I'm an outlier. I like that position. We all know I like this position.
Do you know why I don't do it, Justin? And it's the same reason. And 2 years ago, when Scott Fish introduced the kickers into the rosters, and everyone was going wild because of the crazy bonuses. And this guy can do this. I will always on my last flex spots or my flex spots in general, start the guy who has a potential to blow up to 20 points instead of the guy who's capped at 10. And a tight end that's not a top tier tight end is most likely like he doesn't have the potential to have that 40-point game or that 30-point game or even a 25-point game. That's why I don't do it. So the same argument with the kickers back then. I would never start a kicker in my flex position because his max, like his big game is 15 points. Okay, cool. I'd rather start someone like back in the day, Robbie Anderson, who could go off for 21. Yeah, he might. His floor is 10. His floor is 5. But that's a kicker's average. So let's go back to the tight ends position. If you go look at all their averages, the secondary tight ends, they're like scoring 9 points a game. Cool. That's like their average. Where all you need is one play from a wide receiver, a 50-yard touchdown, already blows that away. All right, now what's next? Because we still have another game, or we still have more game time. Whereas a tight end, you need a touchdown. If they don't score a touchdown, they're done. So that's why I don't start 2 tight ends or roster 2 tight ends. That's just my strategy. But I'm terrible, so don't listen to me. JK, I'm awesome. JK, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. JK, everything is awesome. JK. All right, let's break this thing up and go to our draft. We have an awesome draft for you today. We don't have Dave on the show today because he has a real job and he can't be here. But we have Jacob, producer Jacob. He's going to participate as the third member. So we're going to do the top comfort TV shows, the shows you could put on the background, watch, do some laundry, do a couple of chores, but it's always in the background and you always know the show. So kind of like Cheers, right? I'm just going to throw in an example. No one's going to pick Cheers. We're not 80 years old, but something like that. So Justin, this is your idea. Lead it off.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go with the one show that no matter what gets put in the background, The Office. I mean, it's literally all of this behind me. It's one of those shows that you could literally just fall asleep to it and have your eyes closed. You could be across the house doing something and you know what's happening on the show because you've watched it a million times at this point. At least I have. I don't know if you have.
I can't hate that pick. That's obviously the 101 for everybody. Do you think they should have stopped it with Michael Scott leaving?
So I go back and forth. Do we stop the show and restart it when Michael Scott leaves? Yeah. I know the cast is very happy that they did 2 more seasons afterwards to prove that they could do it without Steve Carell there. But the quality just wasn't the same anymore.
And let's
I
be
didn't like
honest.
Will Ferrell joining it. I didn't like David Spader or whatever is not David Spader, Robert California.
Yeah.
David Spade. That's no, that's not David.
That's not David Spade.
That's not David Spade. Ultron. I didn't like him in it either. It got weird, and the saber stuff. They should have just ended the show.
You said that the other people were happy that they can go on without Steve Carell. It's because of the paycheck. Do you think 80% of that cast is going to
just look at the season 9 cast. Like it literally just they started adding whoever wanted to be on the show at that point.
Well, it's like of course they're happy. They're getting millions of dollars because they're not going to get hired. No offense to those people. They were awesome in the roles, but you think Phyllis is going to go get $1 million role anywhere else? Like for real, of course they're happy.
Phyllis wasn't even an actor before that, so
exactly. But anyway, no disrespect to those people. I love The Office. Even the later episodes, you can pick and choose the good ones and the bad ones. You know, there's some good episodes after, but not many. So Jacob, I'll defer to you. You can get the number 2 pick because I know I'm 1000%. No one's gonna pick any of my picks.
Okay, I'm gonna go Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's another show that I could watch 1,000 times over, and you know, like you said, you know exactly what's going to happen, whether you're watching it actively or not.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is actually like my actual like real life favorite TV show of all time. Yeah, so that's a really great pick.
I need to see it. I need to see it. I've never seen it. I've heard good things, and everyone tells me that. I'm like,
it's so good.
It's so good. I gotta watch it.
It's just so good. Like it's so wholesome. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I've heard. So my first pick is going to be a classic. I was introduced to the show a long time ago, and it's probably my favorite show of all time. And I don't think anyone knows this about me. Going Scrubs. The Brotherhood of JD and Turk are the best. Oh my god. Like, I can't describe the show. The janitor is one of the best characters probably in TV history to me. Just the way he messes with JD and their little feud and everything going on, the quirkiness of it, yet the seriousness of it. You can laugh, you can cry, and you could get angry in the same episode. And you could always end up with a smile. And that's probably the best part about the show. You get all the feelings in almost every episode. The love, the hate, the rivalries, the funniness. They don't make TV shows like that anymore. And if you haven't seen Scrubs, people, it's probably because you're too young. But I don't know if it's on Comedy Central or not, but it's one of the best TV shows of all time. You guys seen it?
I've seen a couple episodes of it. I haven't like watched the whole series of it though.
Hurtful.
Yeah, well. 201.
201, back to you, man.
201, this show, no matter how many times I watch it, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I tear up on some of these episodes because they are emotional. They really dig down into your feelings, and that's Parks and Rec. Just there's still certain episodes, certain scenes that just gets you, and it doesn't matter. You get a little emotional, but it's fine. The Office doesn't do that to me though. Like I there's maybe like one episode for The Office.
You don't get emotional in The Office when Michael Scott.
There's like one or two scenes.
When Michael's leaving, you don't cry still to this day?
No.
Gosh, I do. I can't stop it.
Because I know it's coming. Like I don't know why like Parks and Rec does it and like The Office doesn't, but I think I see myself there. I see myself more as like a Ben Wyatt than I do of like a Jim. Like everybody wants to be Jim Halper, but like really nobody is.
Jim's the villain of the show. If you didn't know, James Spader, by the
Okay.
way, is Robert California.
Yes.
Um,
202.
202, just. Can I say something real quick about Parks and Rec? Because I have a loyal listener and a good friend that he can't stand me because he realized last week or maybe a week and a half ago, I don't like Parks and Rec. I don't like it. And he doesn't understand why, and I don't understand why either. I stopped watching. I maybe went 2 seasons and I just never came back.
Oh, so you got to get it when not Ben Stiller, good lord, Ben Wyatt and Chris Traeger get into the series, because once they get in there, it really picks up. Like
Somebody
heavy.
left like the series, and that's kind of like when I didn't return. Somebody, I don't know, early on, some guy left. I have no idea. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It better not be the city planner guy.
I don't know.
He was awful.
I don't know, but I do. It's a show that I didn't hate. I just want people to understand that I didn't hate it. I just didn't keep my interest, but I did like some dude. That one dude, the Aziz guy. What's his name?
Yeah,
He's awesome.
Aziz Ansari.
He's so funny. So
Tom.
there it is. Tom. Yes. All right, Jacob.
All right, I'm gonna go Community. My second pick.
Yep. That's a good one. Have you not seen that one either?
I've never heard of it.
Oh my god, it's Joel McHale. It's got Donald Glover in it. No. Yeah. Childish Gambino. It's got Allison Brie. It's got a lot of like really big time people right now. So good. It's a show about community college.
Okay.
It is great.
Okay. Then I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out. My number 2 is pretty simple, pretty easy. Seinfeld, all-time classic. You don't really have to follow a story. There's no like, oh, what happened last episode? I mean, there's a couple episodes like that, but it's one of those shows you could just pop in, pop out. Oh, it's a pretzel episode. Oh, it's this episode. Even with the Kramer stuff that happened way back in the day, still cringe when he comes on TV, but everyone else is awesome. I had a huge crush on Elaine, like huge crush on Elaine when I was a kid or younger.
Did you watch Veep?
No, I did not. I need to. No, there's a lot of shows I need to.
If you like her, you should watch Veep. Because
I know, I heard.
Yeah. All right, 301. A lot of my shows have been taken by Jacob. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But 301, I'm gonna have to go with New Girl. It's a show that we've been getting onto recently. Again, I think we're like on the 3rd consecutive playthrough of it now. It's one that we turn on at bedtime and then just fall asleep to it. It's so good. The characters are great, and it's good.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
That's an amazing show. I have nothing bad to say about that show.
This might be like one of my first drafts that Josh does not just shit on the entire time.
No, it's a great show. I'm surprised you watched that show. Honestly, not because it's just because it's an older show. Like I don't know. Do they still have
other shows that you'd be really surprised in, but no, it's not. It's been off air for a while now.
All right, Jacob, finish up your draft.
All right, this might be controversial, but I'm going with South Park. I find that stuff hilarious, and I can put that on and have it in the background and just like crack up laughing.
Not controversial. Man, you know I was in 6th grade when that show came out. I was in 6th. What are you talking about? That was it.
When did that come out?
It came out a long time ago, and it was like the first episode ever.
1997.
Was like you had to like go find a tape that, you know, because it wasn't aired on TV, and it was like Santa Claus versus Jesus, and it was pretty like graphic for the time. And I remember my dad saw me watching it. He was so mad. Like, what are you watching this? No, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea, but my friend gave me this tape, and it's awesome. That's how we consumed TV back then. Great show. My last pick. It's difficult because there's obviously 1,000 shows I love, but this is on almost every day of my life. And you're going to say it's a cop-out because it's basically Seinfeld, but better. It's Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's not a day that goes by that I don't watch that TV show. Not a day that goes by. I turn that show on every night before bed. And if you don't know Curb Your Enthusiasm and you don't have Max or you don't watch HBO, if you like Seinfeld and you like comedy shows like Seinfeld and you like the I'm an idiot humor where Larry David's always making himself look like the biggest idiot on the world, this show's for you because this show is phenomenally written, obviously, because Larry David's a genius. And I think I'm the way I am because of Larry David. I think I hate everything, and I think I have complaints about everything because of Larry David. And I'm so sorry, guys. So blame Larry David. Curb Your Enthusiasm is probably one of the best shows of all time. Have you never seen it?
No.
Oh my god.
But if you're watching this video, you should leave a comment on your favorite go-to TV shows.
Wait.
And if you hear a noise in the background, it's my dogs fighting.
Wait, Jacob, have you never seen Curb Your Enthusiasm? So those videos where it's like bum bum, like where something crazy happens, it goes bum bum bum.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
Although it sounds fun. I might have to watch it now. It sounds fun.
It's got JB Smooth in it. You guys know who he is?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So homework for I'll watch Community. You guys got to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, and we'll report back to each other.
Okay, that's a deal.
Okay.
I can do that.
Sounds good. Well, that was our
for
draft.
24 years.
What?
There's so many seasons of it.
Curb
Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, he takes a lot of time off in between seasons. He takes a lot of time off in between seasons. They have a whole Seinfeld season where they get the band back together, and George and all of them are on the show, and because he's in the show, he is Larry David. He's playing his real life character himself. So he's a writer of Seinfeld in the show, and everyone around him is real life characters too. But I haven't also ran, and we're gonna get back to the tight ends. This is for all the dads out there. You know what I'm talking about, dads. Bluey is an all-time greatest kids television. Even if you don't have a kid, Bluey is one of the best TV shows ever. Thank goodness for Australia for coming out. The best thing Australia's ever done. Jacob's shaking his head. He knows. Back to the tight ends. Evan Ingram, one of our favorite tight ends on the show. He's going ADP tight end 7, 72nd overall. We love Evan Ingram. I don't know why he's not ranked higher. Oh, wait, I have him at 5th. I'm the highest of Evan Ingram. Who knew?
You have him the highest. Holy crap.
Who knew? But I was proven wrong last year. I was proven wrong last year, and I think that it's going to continue. I think it's really going to continue. I think he's going to be dominant again. Why do we hate Evan Ingram so much? Why is he going lower than some of these guys? I don't understand.
You know, looking back at these rankings, I don't understand either. That's tough because I have him at what, 6? Dave's got him at 7. And he didn't really get anybody that's going to take targets away from him. Christian Kirk is still there. Brian Thomas came in. Gabe Davis came in. But, I mean, we know Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas is going to demand a lot of targets. I think Brian Thomas will be the wide receiver 1 for the Jaguars by the end of the season. I think he'll also be target number 1 for the Jaguars by the end of the season. I think Evan Ingram will still be 2, though. And I think that's why it scares me. It's that rookie coming in. It's the same thing with Trey McBride being 3. He's not the number 1 target. Marvin Harrison Jr. is. I think it's the same for me with Evan Ingram. I think Brian Thomas will. We're talking about projecting forward. I see Thomas just getting more targets. But Ingram got 143. So even losing 20% of his target share is still keeping him up there.
All right. So 7 tight ends last year had 100 targets or more. 7. He was one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tight ends had 120 targets or more. He was one of them. 1 tight end had 140 or more targets. He was it. At the second most was TJ Hawkinson at 127. He did get hurt, so he could have maybe surpassed him. He probably would have. You can't overlook that, especially in offense where Trevor Lawrence does like the dink and dunk, and he has a low yards per attempt, and he does favor the sure-handed guys like an Evan Ingram. Brian Thomas may take these targets away, may not. That's yet to be seen. We've seen rookies come in, explode like Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying he's just, you know what I mean, but we've seen rookies come in like JSN who only demand 102 targets, and it happens, right? We don't see these guys come in right away and explode. Rashee Rice took a long time to come out. Jalen Reed last year took a long time to come out. And I see Brian Thomas like a caliber of a Jalen Reed and of a Rashee Rice where he's not going to explode right away. So that gives me 5, 6, 7 weeks with Evan Ingram being the top guy there with Christian Kirk. And then maybe Brian Thomas can take it away a little bit later, but at least you're starting out hot with Evan Ingram. And he could be a guy you could sell later, right? I don't advise that because I think Ingram's going to be awesome. But that's why I have him so high, because I don't see Brian Thomas coming in and lighting the world on fire right away. I just don't see it happening. So that gives you a lot of time to prepare when it does happen if you do draft Evan Ingram. No rebuttal. All right, tight end 7, Kyle Pitts. ADP tight end 6, 61st overall right now. People are they just can't quit this guy. They can't. You know who can? Oh, damn it. I have him. I thought I had him the lowest, but you do. You have him tight end 9. I have him tight end 8. Dave has him tight end 4. I wish Dave was here right now to defend this.
He's the only one keeping him up.
He would have been out of our top 8 if it wasn't for
let's
Dave.
say if Dave had him at as low as you do at 8, that drops him to okay. So it
7.
might drop him a position. So he'd be tied with the next guy, but he's keeping him so high. If he puts him at 9, that does drop him a position for sure. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Kyle Pitts, like, is he going to play wide receiver this year? Like, is he going to be only a tight end? Like, how do the new offense? How does the new offense work for him? You got Drake London, Darnell Mooney actually brought in a paycheck. They plan to use Darnell Mooney. They brought in Rondale Moore. They brought in a lot of guys. And as you've even said, Kirk Cousins doesn't really use his tight end as a lot. Yeah, he had TJ Hawkinson, but that's TJ Hawkinson. Who does Kirk Cousins throw it to? He throws it to his wide receivers.
He really does.
They also have Bijan Robinson. Like, I don't know about Kyle Pitts, man. I want to be done with him. I just want to be done with him. But at the same time, like, people can't quit.
His best season was his rookie season where he had 1,000 yards. He still averaged 10.4 fantasy points per game, still tight end 11. So even with 1,000 yards, which tight ends don't really get 1,000 yards, he was still a tight end 11 in points per game because of the one touchdown.
Oh, points per game. Yeah.
Points per game. Yeah. Because of the touchdown, because he had one touchdown. If his touchdown production went up, awesome. Okay. Year 2, touchdown production went up, baby. He doubled his touchdowns to 2. Still
He's
terrible.
added one every season. So
yeah, I was about to say,
if we're factoring in 4 touchdowns this year, like, does that make him a top 10 tight end? No.
But he's been dealing with scrubs like, we know the scrubs. Desmond Ridder, complete scrub, not going to make it in the NFL. Probably an awesome human being. Don't know him, but you can't really be a top tight end. And I can't project him forward with 53 catches last year, 670 yards. Listen. Even Garrett Wilson produced with Zach Wilson. Like, if you're good, you can produce and you can get open and you can demand targets.
Ballers ball.
Ballers ball. And was he schemed out of plays for Jonnu Smith? Maybe. Was Kyle Pitts not getting open? Maybe. There's a lot of questions there. But you will get an upgraded quarterback. And I do see his targets going up because they have to. 89 targets last year is a joke. He played 17 games. That is a complete joke. But how high do they go? 102? 110? There ain't no way he's getting out. We just went through the list. Not many tight ends get more than 120 targets. Only about 7 on. We just talked about it. Is he going to be one of those 7? Is he going to be join that elite tier of like I demand targets, or is it going to be Drake London mixed in with a little bit of Rondale, mixed in with Darnell Mooney, mixed in with, are they all going to be mixed in together? Then you got Bijan Robinson targets. So we have a lot of things going on here. People think that Kirk Cousins loves the tight end. I made a whole damn video about this.
It's because of TJ Hawkinson. It's because of TJ Hawkinson.
It's because of TJ Hawkinson. Other than that, he never, and you could say it's a scheme situation, right? We don't know this scheme, and I'm not willing to put all my chips in on Kyle Pitts in that round where he's being drafted right now.
If we're talking about scheme, let's go look at the offense coordinator. What did he do with the Rams? He didn't throw to Tyler Higbee all the time, did he? No, not last year. Who did he throw it to again? Oh, his 2 wide receivers and his running back. What does the Falcons have? What do the Falcons have now? a really good wide receiver, 2 lesser known wide receivers, and a really good running back. Like, this is the same. Like, is Kyle Pitts going to be Tyler Higbee this year? Maybe.
Kyle Pitts is one of those people that if he blows up, cool. He just won't blow up on my team.
I'm happy for you for drafting him at 61 overall, tight end 6. If he blows up for you and he panned off, great. I'm not drafting him at 61.
Neither am I. All right, we're gonna wrap things up with George Kittle, tight end 8. Or he's going ADP tight end 8, and he is our tight end 8. And he's going 68th overall. Another guy where he's awesome. If he was on another team and he was the number 1 primary target, awesome. But the problem is you have a CMC, you have an Ayuk, you have a Debo, you have so many other options out there. They just drafted Pearsall.
We talk about mouths to feed. There's way too many mouths for Brock Purdy to feed on this offense. Way too many.
He'll have a big 40-point game, and that's going to skew his season stats. And people are just going to look at his season stats. Like if you look at it, let's just go back and look at his season stats: 90 targets, 65 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Sign me up, baby. But go look at the game log, and you'll see. Oh my gosh, he was tight end 26, tight end 31, tight end 44, tight end 50. Tight end 24, tight end 22, tight end 26.
9 double-digit games. That was it. 9 out of 17.
And
16 he missed the last week.
He heated up week 7 through 11, and that made his season look a lot better. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Tight end 7, 2, 3, and 1. It's a great stretch. But after that and before that, he was killing you. He was killing you because you were starting him every week because you had to. And when he was killing you, he was blocking. He was blocking for CMC. So he was killing it for his team. He was crushing it. But you don't get fantasy points for blocks or impact blocks or pancake blocks.
George Kittle is the tight end you draft for the vibe. Like, I'm drafting him for the vibes on my team, but again, he's killing you on your in your starting lineup. It's really sad to have to bench George Kittle, but I think that's where we're at.
Not benching him because he still has that potential to blow up. Now you look, people will say, Josh, you just talked about potential and yada yada yada. And okay, if George Kittle's floor is
1 point,
no, hold
literally
on.
He scored 1 point twice last year.
I know, but let's just say on average 6 points, 7 points, his floor on average. Okay, that's fine because he has the potential to score 26, 28, 29. That's great. I'm still taking him over the other guys that are below him. I'm still taking him over Njoku or Ferguson or Bowers or Goddard because he does have that potential to score 30 points and win you a week. But how often is that going to happen? So his floor is going to match these other guys like a Goddard and like a Freiermuth and like a Ferguson. But those other guys can't match what he does whenever he does go off. But we don't know when that's going to happen. And that's why I'm not touching him.
We need Seth back on here. Seth Keller with his median or median.
Yes.
Yeah,
we do.
We know what we're talking about.
Seth, if you're watching right now, please give us a George Kittle breakdown because we need it. The listeners want it. We all want it. What do we all want? We want the George Kittle breakdown. And what else do we want, Justin?
To promote our show, subscribe to it. We want you to subscribe. Hit that bell.
I set it up on a T, Justin.
Icon. Yes, I took it this time. Smash the subscribe button, the like, the share, the follow, whatever. Leave a comment on your favorite TV show that we talked about in the middle of the show. And give us your top 8 tight ends that you're drafting in redraft formats this year.
Better yet, give me the tight ends you're not touching. If any of these guys on our list, if you think Kincaid is too high, if you think I'm crazy on Kincaid, if you think I'm crazy on Trey McBride, let us know in the comments. You haven't been shy before. Go back to the Baker Mayfield videos. You haven't been shy before. So here's your shot. Sound off on me. I want to hear it. Maybe one time, also go check out Justin on Going for Two. I watched half of it so far. I can't wait to go watch the rest of it. I had to get to work. Go check out those guys over there. They're doing a great job. And Justin did a great job hosting over there, representing OUS. Representing, Justin. I appreciate that. Go ahead and follow Justin Bowerly. He's freaking rookie of the year over there on Twitter. rising up over 3,000 followers like overnight. Follow the show, OUSFFpod.com. If you're watching on Finstock Sports Network, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Bobby, for letting us broadcast our show on there. Anything else you want to plug before we go, Justin? Because we got to go.
Nah, just subscribe, guys, please. Just almost 100.
Almost 100. Guys,
Almost.
We'll see you next week, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Love you. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.